It's pretty classy, yes.
Don't your friends' boyfriends. It's not that hard. There is quite a range of lead female... I hate saying the word female. There is quite a range of female lead protagonists on TV, whether it be the it girl that has that je ne sais quoi about her, the mean bitch who's an absolute yeah, we stand. The adorable, quirky girl. You get the picture. There are a lot. However, there is one that I recently discovered seems to be enough of a theme in multiple TV shows now. I think at this point, it's fair to say this is an archetype and I don't like it. And it has been as recent as 2022's Season 2's Euphoria that they are still doing this female archetype, and I hate it. And I feel like if they would do it with a little more nuance, which I think some TV shows are starting to do, but I think there is still room for improvement on this archetype, and I think if there is a TV show that truly does this the right way, it'll be amazing. It'll actually be amazing to watch. But time and time again, the TV shows have failed to do this archetype justice. That being the non-girls girl. They're not girls. They're not girls. They're bitches. Whew. Okay. What does it mean not being a girl's girl, in case you're unaware? Essentially, it means not taking another girl's toy. That is my gummy. That is my worm. Let me have my worm. Leave my worm be. It is when a girl willingly, knowing that a man is taken, is with someone else, willingly goes for him, despite his one-eyed snake already having a hole. Let me take you through why exactly this pisses me off and why I think this archetype sucks on our TV and happens over and over again in a shitty way. Because, like I said, I think if they did it in a correct way, this actually could be very interesting to explore on TV. Number one reason being because it's typically either a main character or a semi-main character that we're supposed to be rooting for, and yet they go and do this, so you're asking me to root for a bitch that does this? What? How are you gonna ask me to root for that bitch? How are you gonna ask me to root for someone who willingly stole someone's man? How are you gonna expect us to root for someone who has done something as vile as that? It baffles me because truly, we are presented with a main character, and they are presented to us as likable, someone that we're supposed to like and root for, yet the show makes the decision for that main character to go ahead and do this, do this vile thing to a friend, nonetheless, and then we're still asked to root for the person. We are still supposed to be on their side because whoopsies, it's a mistake, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. You lost your just a girl privileges as soon as they went ahead and did the sideways salsa with their friend's man. I'm getting heated with this topic. The fact that they chose to focus it on a main character and have a main character do this is great for the drama, but bad for your audience to like them after this. Wrong of you, TV show, to ask us, please still like this character even though they someone's man. Please forgive them for this. This is part of the reasoning why I think it would be great if they did this with a character that is already presented as vile, or just a new character entirely, and have that, which they have done. They have done that in some TV shows, but not very well. We'll get into after this, because I do think one TV show did do this well, and we are leaning towards starting to do this well, but still not quite there. not quite there yet. Have them do this, but to someone that they don't know, because oftentimes it is also with their best friend. That is their friend's enchilada that they willingly take. They willingly take, knowing that that's their friend. friend does that to me, I'm clocking her ass. I'm getting my bunk-ass nails did just so I can scratch a bit. That's something that just hits even deeper. I mean, it's obviously, either way, it's a terrible thing to do it to anyone. You know, just don't do that. don't pursue someone else's man. But in the case of these shows doing it to what is oftentimes a best friend, it's just taking it to like 10,000 notches. Already vile trying to go for someone else's man. It is extra vile going for your friend's man. It would be actually interesting to see it with a girl who has no relation to the other girl. I have not really seen this. As far as I can recall in my brain from the shows that I've watched, I haven't seen it where she has no relation to the girl. Kind of with one show, which I will get into later on in the video, but not really. It's usually a friend, which again is weird to me because I feel like when it comes to real life, tell me if I'm wrong. I am so sorry if you've had this experience or if your friend has had this experience, because I personally haven't or know any friends with this experience. But yeah, I don't know anyone whose friend has gone for their man. I really don't. And I want to say I feel like that doesn't happen as often as, let's say, someone would go for someone's guy that they don't have a relation with. I feel like that I have seen, which again, vile, but when it comes to stealing another friend's guy, I don't know. Let me know. Again, I am so sorry if you have experienced vile that bitch. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it just doesn't really happen that often. I think it would be at least interesting to explore because it does happen, but often it happens to a person with no relation, where they're not best friends. I think girls have enough sense of the code to not go for your friends' guys. I think there's that much of a code that we have amongst ourselves, I'm gonna say. I hope.
That's just like the rules of feminism.
And I think it's more realistic if they put it in a TV show where it's between two characters with no relation. I think that would be at least an improvement to showcase this scenario, is if at least it's with someone where they don't have a relation. The third issue I have is the follow-through. The show fails. The show fails with this of taking accountability and the backlash that bitch would receive for doing something like this. What I mean by this, it's how once it is revealed, okay, once it is exposed about this shitty thing that the character has done, more oftentimes than not, they don't reap what they sow. They don't face the consequences of their actions. There will maybe be one or two scenes of them getting yelled at from the person that they did wrongdoing to, and it'll be shitty for a little bit, sure. Like, they will hear it, they will get an earful, but then they're fine. But then life continues, and then they're actually rewarded, and then they actually still continue getting success, getting great things happening to them, getting their man. I want to see this bitch suffer. I want to see this bitch grovel. I want to see this bitch on her knees begging for forgiveness is what I want to see. I want to see her friendless. I want to see her husbandless. I want to see her being a miserable piece of shit like she is. It's just not enough for me, and I don't know if it's a little teen in me coming out, but I feel like it's not enough. The show does not make them reap what they sow enough. Nope, they'll just get a little bit of a yelling and then bye. Maybe that is real life. I don't know. Maybe that is real life after a girl does that to her best friend. The payoff is usually not enough for me. I guess the other thing too that I will add is that I think the TV show very much underestimates the vileness of this. Underestimates how disgusting of an act this is, and underestimates how their audience would react to this in particular. A lot of the times for these TV shows, it seems like they don't understand that women take this shit pretty seriously. Because again, with the way the TV show presents the character, presents the outcome, is that it's like, oh, this is just one of the flawed mistakes that this character is making. They're a flawed character, which, yeah, have your flawed character. I'm a big advocate for flawed characters. I love it. But flawed to an extent. If it's someone that you do want us to still root for, have the mistakes that they make be redeemable. That they can still redeem themselves after that. And honestly, this one, I truly believe they underestimate how terrible this is. It's one thing to be a bitch. Like I said, that's an archetype, okay? Is the bitch who learns from her bitchy ways and to stop being a bitch to people. For TV, you can come back from. This particular topic, this particular subject, stealing one of your friend's guys, I can't explain to you how... I think it's on par with horror movies. You know how people joke about how, you know, people will care more about the animals dying than the people dying? You know what I mean? Like, sure, a bitch can be rude to her friend, manipulate her, cause a scene, embarrass her, you know, sabotage her. She can do shit like that. But as soon as you steal your best friend's man, I just... vile. It's vile, it's shitty, it's disgusting, it's rat behavior. You're being a rat, you're being a bitch-ass rat. Have them have actual severe consequences to their actions. Give her a huge-ass earful, you disgusting slime. How the dare you? Give them an earful. Give them an earful. Clap back. But no, usually the dialogue is pretty shit too. All in all, this is the worst kind of girl I see on TV. Part 2. You really want to get deeper into it with these other examples, but in order to get deeper into it, I do have to spoil. So fair warning, spoiler. These are the girls that inspire the video. These are the worst of the worst, in my humble opinion. Some of them definitely worse than others. And I'm so happy because exactly with what I was thinking with ranking these bitches, y'all did. I did a little poll and y'all thought the exact same way as me. Love you. So we'll go from least vile to most vile, from what I consider the least vile of these bitches to the most. Judging by the gravity of the situation, if they did shit while they were in a relationship, if it was a best friend, how old they are, how many times they did this. Because yes, that does come into play as well. Least problematic of these bunch, I have to say, has to go to Cassie. Cassie from Euphoria. Simply being because she's a teenager. I just give her some leeway there because she still doesn't know what the she's doing. Cassie's just going ballistic at this point. And also because technically she did get with Nate while he was broken up with Maddie. Still disgusting, still despicable, still why? Jacob Elordi is an attractive man, don't get me wrong, and he's tall. He's got that going on for him. Frankenstein over here. Is there truly no one else in that town? We are introduced to, like, no other men, really, in that town. I'm like, truly, was there no one else? As we know, if you've watched the show, basically, her and Maddie are best friends, and Maddie has a serious relationship with Nate throughout the show. It's very toxic. They explore that. Cassie knows, to at least some degree, that he has harmed her best friend as well and has put her through the ringer. Come season 2, Nate and Maddie are officially dundies, and what does Cassie do? Timeline-wise goes, I believe is, what, just a few months after they've been broken up with? Literally f***ing on the other end of a bathroom while Maddie's just trying to take a shit. Homegirl's just trying to poo, and these bitches are f***ing. That sucks. That would suck. Imagine holding your shit because your best friend's your ex. Like, just imagine that. That's absolutely correct. The thing, too, is that she keeps it a secret. She continues to see him. They more than once. Get, like, her on a bear rug or some shit. I don't know. And then Maddie finds out about it. Thank God. The payoff, I will say, is better in comparison to some of these other ones because Maddie beats her ass. Maddie full-on beats her ass. Cassie also gets humiliated from her sister. She does actually get put through the ringer. She gets put through quite the ringer after doing this and after it's exposed. So I will say I do appreciate Euphoria for at least having her get her ass beat. I would have liked to have seen it a bit more, if I'm being honest. I would have done a whole UFC fight night just for Cassie and Maddie. Overall, I would say this one's handled better. I would say it would be even better if by the time season 3 rolls around and they're adults apparently, that they're no longer friends at all. Because that's the thing that I question with some of these, is that usually they still remain friends with the bitch that they did wrongdoing to. I would appreciate it that much more if they just stick to them not being friends anymore. I'll also say, in comparison to the others, Cassie is main character, but not the main character, you know? Like, it is an ensemble cast. So, again, I do appreciate how this was handled, that it wasn't someone that we're supposed to be rooting for. Like, you can root for her if you want. Yeah, I do appreciate how it's not the main character that they're asking us to continuously love her. This next one, also an HBO show, handled it fairly well. Jessa from Girls. Her being the next, not quite as high as the other two, because again, it's with a best friend. It's with a best friend's man, so you. B, technically, she did this while they were broken up. But she is a step above Cassie for sure, because she is a grown-ass adult. She's a grown-ass adult. And she did this to her best friend of years. They've been best friends for years. So the fact that you could do this to one of your actual bestest of best friends is just, This plotline in this show actually made me f***ing die. Oh, they do it so well, though, in this TV show. I just hated watching it. I felt it. First of all, Hannah is in a serious relationship with Adam. Basically, the one guy who has been, like, the love of her life in comparison to whoever else she's dated. Hannah then takes it upon herself to leave, not too far, but still far enough that it's long distance, to go to school. So because of this, they're long distance, and it's kind of up in the air if they're together or not. They kind of made it not quite clear if they're together or not. During her time away, Jessa, who's one of her best friends, starts spending a lot of time with Adam. Uncomfortably so already. I was very uncomfortable with this. What happens first is Jessa actually helps Adam get a new girlfriend for her own selfish reasons behind Hannah's back. Knowing how important Adam is to Hannah, fully knowing that Hannah loves this man. Ooh, if that was already not a kicker, that already didn't want to make me punch a bitch in the face. Hannah gets mad at her, but not nearly enough. Already, that would have been such a huge breach of trust. Already, it would have been friends off. For me, already, it would have been friends off, but for whatever the reason, they continue being friends after this. While remaining friends, Hannah and Adam, they have now been split for a while. More time has passed. Jessa then goes for Adam, and they start having a thing. Mind you, Hannah has moved on by now. She has a new boyfriend and everything, but it's still obviously the fact Adam was very much her first main love and is a huge part of her life and remains a huge part of her life. And so the fact that Jessa this man continuously behind her friend's back is just insane. I will say, again, as much as Lena is problematic, as much as, you know, she's done some shit, I have to give her praise. I have to give her snaps for her performance in discovering that Jessa and Adam are together.
Hey. Hey.
I truly felt it. I truly felt it from Lena when she acted this out. I felt the gut punch, and it was perfect. Such an impactful moment, and I was right there with her. I felt it. I felt it with her. In terms of payoff, I will say again, like, this one is a bit better than the other shows just because they don't really stay friends after this. Jessa does try, which is pretty stupid. Why would you even try? She's like, you can't just erase people from your life. And I'm like, yes, you can. Bitch, watch me. They do have a moment towards the end, like the very, very end of the show, where it's just a peaceful moment of let bygones be bygones type of thing. After she does discover this, they're not friends, and there's a whole other season of the show with them remaining not being friends and Jessa just still being with Adam. But that's the thing too, that I'm like, it still bothers me because technically she does stay with Adam, and that is the end game, that they ended up together, and I just absolutely hate that. Absolutely hate that. Still fairly well done. The last two, not well done. The second worst overall is Emily, from Emily in Paris. The reason I ranked her above Jessa and pretty high is because she has taken the extra step in knowingly making out with another girl's dude while they're still together. I also say all these dudes are pieces of shit too. Like, I think that's fair to say. I hope that goes without saying. But I also think these dudes are pieces of shit. So she does that. She's a grown-ass woman, so she knows what she's doing. And while they're broken up for all of a day, sleeps with him. Okay, this one is interesting because they did start off not knowing each other. So it's not a best friend. Technically, she's doing this to someone who is not a best friend. However, she's an absolute psychopath because she is doing this to someone who she has willingly gotten to know and willingly entered in her life to willingly become friends with. That's really what the kicker is for me here, is like, you really could have done more to keep your distance. At the very, very least, you could have kept your distance from this girl, but she really continues to be friends with this girl even after mistakenly making out with him first. She didn't know that he had a girlfriend first, so there was that. But once she found out that she's in the picture and that she's this nice girl that invited her to her art gallery and all that stuff, she still remains friends with her and continues to get to know her and become friends with her. If you know you are having feelings for this girl's man, stay the away. What kind of psychopath? Why would you go out of your way to be friends with her, very well knowing that you want her man? Why? Cracked behavior. I'll go over this plotline even more in detail in my Emily in Paris video that's coming up. But goodness sakes, this whole plotline pisses me off because Emily is the main character of the show, and she is someone the show is asking us to root for. And I'm like, and it gets worse. It gets worse. She then continuously lies to her face about it, continuously sees her as a friend, and continuously hang out as a friend, and tries to get them back together? What kind of psychopath? Again, though, I want to go over this in more detail in the Emily in Paris video. Camille finds out about it. Her name's Camille, by the way. Camille finds out about it and does not yell at her nearly enough as much as I would have liked. Oh my god, this was the most unsatisfying of all of these.
Did you sleep with Gabriel?
That's literally it. Literally it. And then Emily, again, like a psychopath, tries to make up with her, and then all Camille says is, "Stay away from me, you illiterate sociopath." Which is pretty funny. It's just dumb. It is just dumb the way that they handle this. I hate it. And Emily is not reaping what she sows. Does not reap what she sows. Gabrielle still wants Emily for whatever the reason. She still has her best friend Mindy, who is a whole other level of wrong. All of her thoughts and ideas. She's literally supporting Emily in all of these terrible decisions. Anyway. The way it's handled in this show, the way we still are supposed to root for Emily, the way good things still keep happening to Emily, it's just disgusting! Lack of accountability because she still hangs by that she slept with him while he thought he was gonna leave and that they weren't together, but it's like, but you still made out with him when they were together. You willingly did at the club. Bitch, don't think I forgot about that. And the last one, the worst of the worst, the creme de la creme of the bunch. I'm so happy that y'all voted her the worst because I was like, of all these bitches, I'm sorry, but she's the worst. Serena Vanderwoodson. She not only does this once, not only twice, not only 3 times, 4 fucking times in her show. While she's the main character. We're supposed to be ready. I can't. I literally cannot. First of all, we are presented with her having slept with her best friend's boyfriend before leaving for boarding school. And yet we're asked to sympathize with this girl. It's crazy because when I watched this when I was younger, I actually did sympathize with her. I didn't get it. And I think it's fair to say a lot of us didn't get it. In retrospect, Blair had all the right. All the right and more. The way she behaved in the first 2 episodes is completely justified. Completely justified when you realize she literally slept with her best friend's boyfriend. And it's actually insane how Blair even gives her a second chance after this to me. If you really think about it, Blair was soft. Literally takes all of, 4 episodes until they're best friends again. And this continues. The way the show continues to have Serena take other girls' men and yet somehow still try to justify it and trying to paint Serena as the victim and that we're still supposed to be rooting for Serena is insanity to me. Be so f***ing serious. Not only this, okay, but season 2 comes around. She becomes friends with this socialite named Poppy. And her and Poppy go on some whatever rich ass people do, vacation together with Poppy's current boyfriend. They go, come back. Serena says she may have married the guy who's supposed to be her friend's boyfriend and explains how Poppy left after they got in a fight and then left the rest of the week to them. And then she still tries to justify it when confronted about it. Poppy's just like, yeah, you want to tell me how you stole my boyfriend? And then Serena's like, I didn't steal him. You left.
I didn't steal him. You left.
What? Bitch! At this point, Serena is still a teenager. So, okay. But then she becomes an adult and nothing changes. Serena's like, you thought that was bad? Bad. Let's amp it up times 10 and go for a whole ass married man. And they fully have an affair. They sleep together while he's still married. They make it out like the wife is the problem because he's a politician running for mayor. And she orchestrated this whole scheme in making it look like he saved some dude's life when in actuality she paid the dude to look like he was drowning so that it was like a whole setup. Whatever. And that's supposed to be her being a villain. That's supposed to be the wife being a villain, is her doing some scheme just to get her husband's votes up. That's why she's a bitch. That's why Serena deserves Trip. And then afterwards, Trip gets in a car accident with her and he leaves Serena there. So then again, Serena's just painted as this victim, but it's like, no. No. Again, I can't stress enough, these men are pieces of shit. I hate the men. But in retrospect, Serena, like, you're digging your own grave, girl. She fully went after this married man. You're lucky that not worse happened to you, honestly. has one day at the hospital and is good to go. And then she gets a hot-ass guy after this. She gets a hot-ass, fine-ass Nate Archibald after this. So, did she really reap what she sowed? Did she really get consequences? The show just continuously tries to make her like she's the victim all the time. And then finally, third time, right? The fourth time, she still does this. Even worse, okay? This is the worst because she is fully an adult at this point, okay? I think at this point they're supposed to be like 22, 23. And she basically does the same shit to Blair, her supposed best friend, that she did years ago. And again, sleeps with her best friend's boyfriend. Serena still loves Dan and wants to get him back. So what does she do? She orchestrates this whole plan to make it look like Blair is choosing Chuck over Dan, even though she actually does end up choosing Chuck over Dan, which good. But Serena herself doesn't know if she's choosing Chuck or Dan. So she goes with this plot to make it look like that, even though Blair very well could have chosen Dan. And sleeps with Dan. Sleeps with Blair's current boyfriend, Dan, after she f***ed her over once before and Blair forgave her. Yep, she does that again. But they still manage to remain friends somehow after this. They literally show up to each other's weddings, so I don't know how they remain friends after that. Of all of these, the worst of the worst has by far got to be Serena Vanderwood's. The way the show consistently wants you to root for her, wants you to feel sorry for her, victimizes her. She does have bad things happen to her. I guess I will give the show that. She does have bad things happen to her. But in terms of accountability, she did not give a shit for stealing Poppy's guy. She did not give two. And then same with Dan. When she sleeps with Dan in season 5, she's just like, well, I love you, Dan, and she doesn't, so.
Kiss that we didn't even have until after he decided to leave his wife.
The fact that, yeah, she doesn't learn or grow either, she just gets worse. Because she goes from her best friend's boyfriend to another friend's boyfriend to a whole ass married man to then her best friend's boyfriend again. She doesn't even grow. Can you believe we're rooting for that bitch? That's all I have for you today. Let me know all of your thoughts. Please tell me all of your thoughts. Tell me who you think is the worst out of all these bitches. Tell me if you think one of these shows has done this topic correctly. Or let me know if you still are rooting for these bitches, because maybe you are. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time. Mwah.